You mentioned listening and
Yes.
getting the leads, but as well closing the leads.
Yes.
So on selling and social selling, one thing is to get the lead, which is a massive task, but the most difficult is how you close, how you take it to the next level. So can you just give us a bit of an overview? Because this is one things that I think people are struggling, and they're struggling to understand how to take it forward, how to work this direction, and how to improve these different things. Okay. So any notes that you want to highlight on that direction?
Yeah, I think that everybody needs to understand the mechanics of using social. This is not about using a tool, it's about how it works. So what I talked about is the walking the digital corridors and having the digital conversations. Excuse me. Part of that is listening. Listening to what's going on, listening to what's going on within your prospects, listening to what's going on with your competition, and then making sure that you start having conversations and being comfortable having those conversations. Now, I totally understand that the person that you're, as you build out relationships across a particular account, you may find somebody isn't on LinkedIn or isn't active on LinkedIn, but you may find them on Instagram posting pictures of their dogs taking them for a walk in Bushy Park in London. Now, this is what I'm talking about is this is not about learning how to use LinkedIn. It's not learning about Instagram. It's learning about how to be social and how to move from one platform to the other and understand what it means to be social, which is different from knowing how to use Sales Navigator or something like that. And then the process is about having a conversation, just as I talked about earlier on, a conversation like we're having here, like you would have at a networking event. Where have you come from? How far have you traveled? Oh, you're in London. Oh yeah, I was in London 2 years ago, and I went to see this. Is that still there? And just having that conversation, at which point you turn that to one about something to do with what you know. So what do you do? Oh, you're in. Oh, that's interesting. Is how are you finding it right now? For example, at BMW, they've been hit hard because a lot of the Mini was manufactured in Ukraine. So you can imagine, people were buying Minis, and they said, "Well, you're not going to get one for 12 months." I don't know what they're doing now. I haven't spoken to the people at BMW for a long time, it's having that natural curiosity and starting those natural conversations. And what you'll find is that. What you'll find is, so I was on a conversation, I had a Zoom call with somebody the other day, senior leader in one of the UK newspapers, and he said, "I don't believe this works." And I said, "So how do you think you got on this call?" And he went, "Oh." I said, "Yeah, I targeted your company. You're here because this is what works." And I said, "You've actually," and then what you can you turn around the conversation, and I said, "You've actually asked me to pitch at you." So and it was like he had an aha moment where he went, "Oh, I get it now." And then really the closing process is no different from the closing process that you would normally take somebody through. The difference being that what you're able to do is use the skills that you've now got, that we've now taught you about your profile, about your network, about content. You're using that as a way, as levers to do things. So for example, we generally are able to shorten the sales cycle by about 20-30%. And the reason why that we're able to do that is that if you've got a particular, say you've got a particular deal, they're ghosting you, and you can't get hold of the people, what would you normally do? You'd phone them up, you'd send them emails, you'd annoy them to the point where they'd say, "Go away, I don't want to deal with you." Let's turn it on its head. Let's take the business issue that client has got. Let's write an article about it. Let's write an article about the business case for that, and then send it to the person that's ghosting you. So I've just written this. Would really love your comment on it. It's a different way of working. This is a way of working with senior people in organizations. Yeah, and this is what they'll do is that they see you then as a business person yourself. They don't see you as someone that's going to come and try and sell you something and disappear. They see you as a partner, as a friend, as an expert. Now, this isn't, none of this stuff is difficult. It's just about applying it and using it. So, for example, we were trying to, we heard that there was a particular PE, so private equity company, that was having problems because of COVID. They weren't going to get the buyout in the time frame that they wanted, so they needed to get international and grow internationally. So they need to go into new markets to do that. So we wrote an article about how to go into new markets. Within 10 minutes, the particular person from the PE company, because of course we'd connected to the person already, they'd seen that we were nice people because of our profile. Within 10 minutes, they phoned us up and said, "Seen your article, can you come and talk to us?" And this is what we're doing. We're using those three things of our profile on our network and content as a way to help us get new business, but also speed things up through the pipeline and also help us close. So while we're still using the standard sales techniques, I'm not taking anything away from salespeople that they've used for the last 5, 10, 15 years. What we're doing is we're adding to it and supplementing it, but giving them digital skills to enable them to get the sales and use the sales processes that they now need to do in digital. It's interesting what you said earlier on about getting everybody in the organization to sell. In effect, if what you're not doing is saying to people, you need to sell. If you've got a good profile, if they're building networks and they're sharing content, they're going to be sharing content about what a great place it is to work, about your great diversity program, about the fact that you're inclusive, the fact that you've got an ESG program, that, hey, all of these things are the things that actually people will go, that looks like a great place to buy from. That looks like a great place to work. That looks like a great place to invest. And what we're doing is that we're reaching out. You know, the modern job hunter is the same as the modern buyer, and the same as the modern investor. They're all looking and searching on the same way, and they're looking for the same things.
This is wonderful inspiration, and I think for people listening to us, even for me, I think these details is the devil is on details. That's why I always say to my teams, and even what you're doing in these things. And I think it's really important, but as well is about the respect that you build, because business is about building relationships of respect. And I think this part, the way you put it, you are creating value. And when you create value, then you can close the deal